Hey YouTube, Zealous Talon here, and this is my second part of the Legacy Dragonzord review, in which I will be overviewing the battle mode and Mega Dragonzord combinations. We're going to be using the Legacy Megazord for these combinations, and I'll explain why as I'm going. So, to get started, we're going to take a look at battle mode. So, this was always one of my favorite combinations in all of Power Rangers or Super Sentai history, maybe even my favorite. I've always adored the Dragonzord battle mode. And back when I was a kid, I would call it the Dragon Megazord, but you know, now I know better. So to start, you need to pull off the tail. It's simply attached by a Zord Builder connector, and then we need to collapse all the segments so that we have basically a giant drill. We can set that down, and then we want to straighten him up at the hip, make sure his knees are kind of straight, and then we'll split at the hip, open him up, pull out the center section and close him back up. And then with this chest piece here, we need to pull on the back to extend it out, because that will give us clearance to attach the drill to the top, and it also opens up the port for us to attach the bottom of the power staff. And it goes either way, there's no front or back to it, so just plug it in. Just be aware that nothing plugs into the chest without you pulling that out. So we can set that down for now in all of its hugeness. Now for the rest of the Dragonzord, you do need to have the missile firing hands with the straight fingers. The relaxed posed hands will not work for doing this because they will not fit into the forearm when you collapse it into the shoulder. So you do need to have those, or just remove the hands entirely, because in the battle mode there you don't necessarily need the hands, but why would you not put hands on him? Anyway, just pull out the shoulders and then close them in front to form a chest piece. That's just my favorite part of this whole thing. I just love that. Oh, I love that chest piece. And you can take the arms formed by the Mastodon from your Legacy Megazord or Dino Megazord if you don't have the Legacy version, but I do recommend Legacy version because of the tighter connections. You slide that on, clip those on. He's got arms. And then you'll simply take the legs formed by a Triceratops and Saber-toothed Tiger. And what we'll do with Dragonzord is pick him up, open up these thigh panels, rotate the lower leg into the upper leg, and then he's got the Zord Builder port on the back of each calf essentially. And we'll just plug those in, open him up, flip it up, open, flip, and plug. Open, flip, and plug. Now this is the one problem with the Dragonzord. The one very glaring flaw with this figure is that because of the die cast in the feet, when you pick him up, his legs want to just flip out. And there's a tab that's supposed to hold these things in place, but they're so heavy, and the tab is just kind of useless against the weight, the sheer weight of this guy's legs. But then you just flip down the lower jaw to reveal the face. And you can kind of flick the arm forward and then open up the back of the power staff. Open that up, and then a handle flips out, which is far superior to the original toy setup. You can just plug that in his hand and set that on the ground, and there is Dragonzord in battle mode. Legacy Dragonzord in battle mode, I should say. And he's just beyond impressive. The power staff is huge in this combination, just because the tail is so much longer than the original Dragonzord's was. Some people have said that they wish that a second static tail that was shorter be included to make the combination more accurate, but I really like this. And if they had included the second tail, that would have been fine, I guess. I wouldn't have had any issue with it, but I'm fine with this. This just looks impressive and imposing and just downright badass, fuck your day up, pardon my language. Size comparison against the Dino Megazord, you can see that, you know, adding in the Dragonzord does make this a taller combination, and just, it's very impressive. It's very impressive. I really, really like this setup. I really do. Just phenomenal. And he can actually hold his weapon without it falling apart or collapsing, because it doesn't have that crappy little flimsy plastic arm that was off to the side. So huge improvement there. But we can take that away because we don't need it for the Mega Dragonzord. To do that combination, we'll basically have to disassemble the battle mode. We can take the arms off, put them back on our T-Rex that's already conveniently in Megazord mode. We can put these cannons on the back. Since, you know, the pterodactyl doesn't incorporate into the battle mode, the cannons don't really go into the battle mode either. Now, with the Megazord, you don't want it all the way together. It does need to be somewhat modified in preparation for combining, just because of some of these connections here. The instructions recommend that you remove the pterodactyl, open the chest piece, move down the T-Rex arms a bit, and also flip out the tail. This whole stuff that you're doing with the T-Rex right there, that's a little superfluous, even with the pterodactyl chest piece, but I do find that it makes it easier to do all this stuff with the chest. You do have to detach the tail, you do have to fold back the horns, and you do have to fold down the shoulders to get this to work. This stuff just makes them easier to connect, all the stuff you do with the chest. So to prepare the Dragonzord, if he was in battle mode, like he is now, just open the arms and return them back to where they were as the dragon mode, but keep them folded in. The legs are going to mess up, so I'm going to ignore those for now. Close the mouth, and then this panel on the back of his neck flips out. Don't flip it all the way down, just kind of sitting out, and then flip up the horn. Not all the way, but just enough that you have that nice kind of slope going on, because it will fold a little bit further forward than that. And then split the legs, and then this little piece in here that connects the hips actually folds away, which is nice. Now this is tricky. You have to thread the horns of the Megazord through a hole on the back of Dragonzord's neck, and it's not easy. So bear with me as I try to make this happen. You do have to have it a little bit further forward than you would think it needs to be. But once it's on there, this clip on the Dragonzord will actually snap onto the Mastodon, and then the T-Rex tail locks into that. Can come around to the front, and what's supposed to happen is there's clips in here that are supposed to clip around the T-Rex, but the weight doesn't always make that easy. So also you want to flip these up, flip out these black pegs, and then they'll clip around these shoulders, like these parts of the Mastodon here. And then you can flip those up, flip up the T-Rex chest piece, which helps, again, lock this down. And then you can attach the pterodactyl. And then if the legs fell down, which they probably did, because they're so heavy, you just flip them back up. And those will rest in place actually rather comfortably in this mode. And that is the Legacy Mega Dragonzord. Very big, very impressive combination. Unfortunately, the Mix and Morph Titanus does not support the pieces of the Dragonzord, so in order to have a decent looking Ultrazord, we're going to have to wait for Legacy Titanus, but I am very willing to be patient because this is a gorgeous start. This is just so pretty and so heavy. It's got to weigh over 5 pounds, but so worth it. Legacy Dragonzord, Zealous Town.